That's a brilliant thing. Every single one of these is almost like a little bit of a blast from the past. So we have the Blade, we have the CB, and we have the XB. Now this one's got potential to be really good. It's hollow-headed. Whereas this one, I don't know, I'm questioning who is going to use this. So we're going to have a first look at these. What one have I selected on there? We're going to go with Blade first. So that's this one. And this really does look like a heritage model. I really like the little bit of undercut and the emblem sort of a little bit shiny in there. And almost the detail on where the number is sort of very, very old school. I like that a lot. Now, all these irons have the same shafts in them. So it's going to be really interesting to see like the differences in distance, the differences in consistency. In theory, that one should come out on top, in my opinion. But the question is, will it? And the one that I'm really questioning is the Blade. So let's start off with hitting one with the Blade. But take a look at this down behind the ball, because my first impression, I know this is the 9 iron and we will look at the 5 iron, was that that wasn't too scary. Like, it obviously is the thin top line, but it wasn't like, oh, that is really small. The only thing that I sort of mentioned, take a look at that, is that it's a little bit small toe to heel. But overall, the 9 iron anyway, it doesn't look too bad. Right, let's get our first shot away. Let's see what we're dealing with in this 9 iron. Well, that felt really solid. It didn't feel like I was hitting a 9 iron. 139 carry, 8,000 spin. So just to give you an idea, the number on the bottom of the club is roughly the amount of spin that you want. 139, I'd say that's a little bit down from what I have as my 9 iron carry, but that is seriously straight. That was really out the middle. What's going to be interesting is when I get one a little bit heely or a little bit toey, does it change? And that was really good out the middle. Very consistent. 139, 2 for 2, around the same number. Now, the lofts of these do change. So really interestingly, if I hold these two together, the Blade and the CB, these two, are both 42 degrees of loft. Whereas a much stronger, this is 40.5, this is the XB model. I'm actually really impressed with that Blade. Let's hit another one, because with Trackman, if you hit 3, we'll get like a nice little tight group in, and then we can start to see some little comparisons in how they fly. Feel very good and very soft. Like the metal feels really, really good. Maybe got that a little heavy there, but not too bad. It's gone pretty straight. I'm hoping Wilson have done this year, and I think they've done this in previous years. The look of this, the matte compared to the shiny of last year, I think elevates it completely. But what I hope they've done is, and I sort of think of Strixon as a brand like this, they're not really that well marketed, but they're really good quality components that they use. I think that's a really good looking iron to start with. That's some of the shot pattern there. Maybe a little bit heely, but to be fair to it, for a Blade, usually you would know where you've hit it, right? And you'd get a lot of feedback. I didn't feel like I got that there. Interesting. I've actually gone shorter. I thought I hit that really good. That felt really good.
Sounds more solid.
Sounds really solid, doesn't it? Really solid. Well, they're all poker straight. Interestingly, a lot shorter than what I would expect for my 9. And my 9's like maybe 5 to 8 yards longer than that. But that felt really solid. That's a staff model CB. And I think, like, looking at that there, I don't know, the blade length looks really, really similar to the Blade, but you're getting a little more forgiveness. If I turn that round there, you've just got a little more forgiveness in the back in that CB. It's like a traditional CB I remember as a kid. I like that a lot. Right, let's now go on to the XB. This one should jump up a lot, but I think as we go through this, it's the longer club switch that's really going to be beneficial to go potentially down the XB. But then the question I have for a better player, that player's distance iron sometimes can be a little too distancy. Might sound weird, but I think this could be right. Now that blade length looks a lot bigger in my opinion. This is now the XB, the hollow-headed iron. It just looks a little bigger, I would say, from the top to the bottom, but then also from toe into heel. I wonder, like, I don't think you'd actually notice it that much down behind the ball. Like, even though this is hollow-headed, you've still got that nod. I suppose it is a little thicker towards this toe area here, but there's still that nod to its heritage sort of style, which I think is really, really cool. I think if you just look at, I mean, there's nothing to do with golf clubs, but golf fashion now is going like back to like the 90s. It's cool to have that heritage brand. I think it really, I'm going to say, in my opinion, it elevates a brand. Wilson Staff, if you go back 25 years ago, that was its real heyday. Like, so many top players used it. Now you've got the Project Carringtons, a few younger players, but I feel like maybe it could be its resurgence. And going back to the sort of roots is a nice way to do this. So XB, this is the 9 iron. Then we'll just take a little look at the patterns we're seeing before jumping into the 7 and the 5. I know a lot of you will be interested in how the 5 iron flies, because will that little bit of extra forgiveness give us a lot more distance? Remember, these models, the XB, the hollow-headed iron, is significantly stronger in loft. Well, that sounded so different. Ball speed the same, 108. 138 carry, that's very, very similar. I was expecting more. I'm trying to hit these all around the same clubhead speed to keep the test as fair as possible. Just what I'd count as like a stock 9 iron. 108.9 again, like a metronome. And one more, then we'll jump over to that screen and just have a quick look at that pattern, because I genuinely thought this one, I mean, that sounds so good. I genuinely thought, I mean, how consistent are those numbers? We've got to take a look at this. You have a look at the big screen. I'll do it on here. I genuinely thought that this would go significantly longer. Let's look at the dispersion here, and we can go show all. Right, okay. So, the blade is this white. Now, bear in mind, I hit this a little bit far. Look at the XB. You could throw a blanket over them. So there's the 9 iron. If we just have a quick look now at the table, get the data up, and we'll just compress this so you can see the averages. I was genuinely expecting this to be significantly longer, but 138, 137, nothing in it. Now remember, this is about 1.5 degrees stronger in loft, so should go a lot further. CB and the blade are the same loft. Really interesting numbers so far. Bear in mind I did fat one, but I like to leave them in there because, did I fat it because it's a smaller blade? Because I was a little more intimidated? I guess that's the psychological factor of having a blade. Maybe you feel under more pressure. Interesting first look at the 9 iron. Let's now move into the 7 irons within this range. I'm genuinely impressed with how they look. Genuinely really impressed with how they look. A huge fan of it. I think the 7 iron looks better than the 9 iron. Now, these, as we go into 7 irons, let you know, these have got 34 degrees of loft, and this is 32. Now, interestingly, as you move into the 7 iron, this is one of the clubs that's got a tungsten slug. Essentially, think of that as a weight that they put lower to help you get the ball in the air. It's also in this cavity, they've filled it with urethane. So I imagine to get the face a little more explosive, but also to give more consistency across that face. I'm actually dying to hit this one, so I'm going to stick with the XB, the hollow-headed. It's 2 degrees stronger in loft. Like, this should, theoretically, way outdo the other two. That's crazy. Let me get those in order. Like, look at the difference as you look down. So the two on your right-hand side, as you can see, are the blade and the CB. And then this is the XB here on the left. The blade length, as you go from 7 iron, is drastically bigger from toe to heel. I think what you'd feel with that is definitely a little more confidence, because you're looking down on that going, well, there's a bit more room to hit. These two definitely look a little bit more intimidating. Now, I know the CB is designed to have that blade style look down at the ball, but then just we know, like we've seen so many review videos as all, the blade, that's this one, If you get the blade look with a bit of forgiveness in the CB, why would you buy the blade? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but if I get the blade-like look with a bit more forgiveness, why am I getting this? I'm only getting this to show off to my mates. The great things you could do though, the one thing I would say is because they are matching in lofts, you could do like that graduated set. So you could go blades in like your 9 iron, your 8 iron, and maybe 7 iron slip into the CB. That would be the way I would go about it. Right, okay, here's XB 7 irons. I'm interested to see. This should go so much further. If it doesn't, well, I don't know. So ball speed expecting like 120s, club head speed around the 90 mark, carry, I want it in the 170s. I got that a little bit thin, but actually, that was like a 6 out of 10 strike for me. And 118 ball speed, not too far off what I'd expect. We're really testing the forgiveness on that shot. There we go, that was a honey of it. 124, I'm usually like the 120. 173 carry, 90 club head speed. That flew. I'm really disappointed in the first shot, but I guess you're gonna hit one of them. That felt really solid. Again, that felt really solid. 122.6, 166 carry, 7,000 spin. Yeah, you can sort of see. First one I hit was down here, and then the last two right out the middle. It's going to sound odd what I'm about to say. I'm quite happy that didn't fly like stupid distance, because I think that makes it more playable for a lot more people. In the past, I've criticised hollow-headed irons for being like rockets, to the point where you cannot control them. So I like that, okay? We're going to move into now the CB. This looks minute in comparison. Now remember, this is 2 degrees weaker compared to the XB, so in theory, we should see, in theory, that distance drop. Doesn't always happen. Intrigued here. That wasn't a great strike, but wasn't a bad hit. I'm quite impressed with that, actually. I've maybe got a little bit matty. That was really good. That was 10 out of 10, and 122.5 ball speed, 167 carry. They really feel soft and solid off the face. I'm very, very impressed with the feel. I keep looking at it going, I think that the aesthetics of how that would look in your bag would be blooming brilliant. I think you'd struggle to get a better looking CB model this year. I really do. I really, really do. A little left, that one I know. Bit pulley. It's going to contribute to a faster ball speed. 176 carry. Now, when you're looking at a set of irons, we're not just looking at this as how far do they go. We want to know the consistency. How often are we getting it around our number? So that was, I reckon, quite close. We had a 167 in there, 170, 176, actually our fastest ball speed. This is where it starts to get interesting. You've got to be on your game to hit that surely consistently. Right, let's hit 3 away with this, but look at that blade length. The top line, I don't notice any difference, as I said, with the 9 iron compared to the CB, but that's the blade as you're looking down. It's definitely intimidating toe to heel. That was a little heely, but 122 ball speed is very impressive. 167 carry, 6,900 spin. That's actually surprised me. I genuinely thought that wouldn't have carried that far. That strike was somewhere in here, a little bit low, a little bit heely. My common area, and to see good carry and good ball speed like that, and bear in mind this is slightly weaker than that hollow-headed iron is well, I'm going to say beyond impressive, but very impressive. Fatted that again. I've fatted one, haven't I, with the blade every time. The only thing I could say is it has to be down to the fact that you don't feel as comfortable, almost like you're trying to search for that strike. And you don't want that on the golf course, do you? You don't want to be searching for a strike. That was it really good. 121 ball speed, right down the pipe. 7,000 spin. Starting to get a little bit more of a spread, but I'd say quite even throughout. Before I show you this grouping, let's start hitting some 5 irons away, because when we're talking hollow head, right, let me grab them over here. This is where in the top end of the bag you'd want to go. And I think they've actually missed the trick here. You can't, in what I'm looking at the lofts, do like a graduated set from 5 iron in the blade, 5 iron, or for example, let me reword that. You can't do like a short iron in the blade, then you move into like CB around like your 7 iron, your 6 iron, and then do 5 iron and 4 iron in here. The lofts just don't match. These are a little bit weaker. You can do it with these, but I think they missed the trick. If there was some way, I don't know, maybe they can bend it or whatever, of doing a graduated set where that would look like your bag, shorter irons and the blade, then you'd move into a CB, and then you'd, dare say, go into the XB in the longer irons, and that would be absolutely blooming brilliant, because look at that 5-iron. Very little offset to no offset. That to me looks super intimidating. Like with the 9-iron, it was okay. I feel like you wouldn't be too upset looking down on that, but as I've got into the 7-iron and now the 5-iron, now I'm thinking, I used to have a set of Cobra blades, those Ricky Fowler ones, and why I had them. They don't quite look as small as those, but wow, that is intimidating looking down at that ball. That is intimidating. Right, we're going to start off with this blade, and we'll finish on the XB, and we'll wonder how much further this goes. It's got to start going further. So for reference, this is 26 degrees. The XB is 25. It's only a degree weaker. Oh, it looks so small now, the ball, that top line now. So intimidating. That felt like absolute money. I've just stepped up to the plate here. I'm as surprised as you are. Spin, bob on, round the 5,000, 195 carry, exactly where I hit my current ones, 133 ball speed. The only thing is, again, remember we've hit one bad with each of the, one of the 9-irons, one of the 7-irons. You've got to be on your game for a blade, haven't you? 133 again, straight down the pipe, 192. Little spinny, I left the face open, but you'd expect that with any club, not just a 5-iron. The silence is deafening. Fair play. Fair play. I'm not saying that about me, by the way. I'm saying that about this iron. Like, I struck them all really good out the middle. But I'm genuinely surprised at the ball speed there. I was expecting, to be honest, around the 130 mark. Just because like, if you've got to be pinpoint accurate with these usually. And if you're not, it just drops like a stone. Even that one left a little bit open was still up there. Right, I'm dying to go move into these two. So let's go into the CB now. I wonder how these results are going to stack up. I think they're going to surprise us. I don't think that XB is going to be longer than we thought it was going to be. And I think the blade right now is performing way better than I personally, at first glance, thought it was going to be, right? At first glance, I thought it was no way it was going to perform. So that's it there. And they've done a great job of going, okay, well, our CB is modelled like our blade with a bit more forgiveness. You definitely get that same opinion. The things that are sticking out here, though, it definitely just looks a little bit more offset in here. Offset is essentially like this bit, how far the head is set behind the shaft. There's a little more to it. And I would say there's marginally, it might not even be this, but visually I see this, a little bit more from toe to heel in size. Just a little bit more forgiveness in there. I say marginally. Right, okay, here is the 5-iron with the CB. That was it really nice. Slightly slower ball speed, interesting. That was it really good. Maybe a little spinny to the right, 132 ball speed. That's a good shot, that. I mean, we're in 5-irons here. Don't get picky, Alex. Who do you think you are? Ah, that was a bad swing! That was a terrible shot, wasn't it? Right, I want to have a look at this data before we move into our final model, and just to give you a sneak of what that looks like in the 5-iron in the XB, the hollow-headed. Very, very similar profile in terms of like this area than what we had in the 9-iron. Remember, this has got a tungsten weight in it because we've gone above 7-iron to help launch, and that Yoda theme within that hollowed-bodied area of that 5-iron. No arguments about it, right? A little more offset, you can see that here in this part of the club. Definitely bigger profile from toe to heel. And it's just going to give you more confidence. Like the top line right here, I like the sort of definition between the matte colour and the brighter, shinier area. Very, very nice. Right, let's just have a look at the patterns though, shall we? Annoying, really annoying, this shot here that I just hit. But what we can see here is these are our 9-irons. Won by the XB. So the XB is like this greeny, bluey colour here, right? Then if we move into these crop here. These are our 7 irons. Now the longest was our green, which is the CB, surprisingly. But you'd say our most consistent, what tour players look for, is a really small, long to short shot. That would be our pink. The pink is our XB, so our hollow-headed iron. Now if we then go into these numbers here, CB, I hit 1 shocker, which has really done us in. But I want to leave it in there because I want to give you an honest and just a first look and a hit. I think that's really important. On that point, if you are enjoying these videos and want some honest, impartial reviews, don't forget to subscribe and turn on that bell. That is the blade. That's only 15 yards right of target. I mean, that is not bad at all. The question is now, surely with a degree more, or degree stronger in loft with the XB, right, we're about to hit this. Can we creep over the 200 mark? And I want that dispersion from back to front to be better. And the reason why I'm saying this is, we're looking at a head here that has more offerings in terms of forgiveness. Better ball speed across the face. So no matter where I hit it, I should see a really tight dispersion from front to back. Left to right, I mean, that just depends on how I deliver the club, right? But more front to back. I'm going to say I want over 200 yards of carry. I want to see 135 ball speed. I'm expecting big things because there's more going on here. Have a look at this here. This is crazy down behind the ball. You can actually see a little bit at the back, and I think that's, again, we're coming into what you want to get. I think, if I'm being honest, most people, even Rory's come out and said, I'm going more forgiving this year, my irons. I think that's so important. You've got to go more forgiving. Wow, so I said at the start of the video, it sounds like I'm being an idiot now because I've obviously hit the blade really good in the 5-iron. But if you looked at over the course of a season, the reality of me hitting a 5-iron like that in a blade, probably not going to happen. I think that's what you want to see from a 5-iron personally. But then the big thing is, does it go further? And what I do like, which you might find strange, is that 7-iron wasn't ridiculously long. It would sit in gapping. That's really important. And what I did like about the 7-iron, you saw the circles, is how close they were. Now, if it's close, you're not getting one that explodes off. That's a big thing, big thing. Okay, but here's the 5-iron. I've said over 200 in carry. I'm not hitting this any harder. I'm approaching that 135 ball speed. That was hit really solid. 133.5, 191 carry. Maybe a little bit open in the face, which got it a little more spinny because we're sort of near 6,000 revs. 133, very consistent. 194 carry. That's more like it. Tell you what, that's 2 good shots there. That was it really good. 135.6. The others were like an 8 out of 10. That was a 10 out of 10 carry. 10 out of 10. That felt like a hot knife through butter. But interestingly, wasn't that much further. So even though I hit him a little bit off on the other two, like the first two were like good, like down here, 8 out of 10s. The last one was boom, baby, right out the middle. Right, final look at this data. This is, I'm really pleasantly surprised. Let's start with the table, shall we? We'll crop that in. So, 9 irons we saw here, there's literally nothing in between them, is there? 135, oh, let me get that off there for you. 135, 137, 138. Nothing between really the blade and the 9 irons, nothing. As we move into the 7 irons, 168 in the XB, the hollow-headed, 169 in the CB, and then 163 in the blade. Remembering I did fat one in that blade again, which has dropped that down. But as we move into the final bit of this data, 193 with the blade. Again, I hit a bad shot with the CB, contributing to slightly lower. And then 194 in the XB. But what I'm really interested in is this grouping. So I've not even seen this, so you're seeing this the first time. XB is the white. The tightest dispersion, really, is this blade. But I'm actually genuinely surprised on this XB. What I think this offers you is, I think it almost, in a weird way, will sort of make the other two a little bit redundant because you've got something that gives you more forgiveness, but not something that explodes. So these two shots here of the white, I hit a bit out the heel, but notice how they're not much shorter than the one I got right out the middle. That's a brilliant thing. Yes, of course, me hitting 3 shots of the blade, 3 shots of the CB, I'm going to get some shots good. But over the course of a season, I'm going for this all day long. I don't see the point in the other two. I know that sounds harsh, but my honest opinion, if I was going to Wilson, I'd find a way of getting these into my bag, just because over the course of a season, I'm going to be way more consistent.